team. Working towards one goal. One final.
Battling for each other.
And our safety.
This is our number.
Versus your team. One safety, one duty, one family.
And now, let's make these starters for your Hartford Athletic. In goal from Mission Hills, California, number 1, Richard Stoppage. On the bench from Durham, North Carolina, number 3, Tommy Brown. On the bench from Trinidad, Trinidad and Tobago, number 5, Crispin Hart. On the bench from Portland, Oregon, number 6,
An injured
Matt Sheldon. And midfield from Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo.
An injured knee might look pretty simple, but there's a whole person behind.
And midfield from Thousand Oaks. Head coach, Tab Ramos. He's assisted by Ovid Namazi, Dan Gaspar, Joe Santos, Matt Bessemer, and Mike Diaz. Hartford Athletic would like to recognize today's Educator of the Match, presented by Capital City Education Alliance.
As the calendar turns to April, two sides looking for their first taste of success this season collide for the first time ever. Welcome to Trinity Health Stadium in Hartford. It's Hartford Athletic and Orange County SC. Another cloudy Saturday afternoon. Jody Ambrosio here with Phil Murphy. And Phil, as we look at the standings, brought to you by Jim Beam Bourbon and Hornitos Plata Tequila. Athletic looking to get on the correct side of things.
Yeah, they're actually second from bottom. Memphis one spot below them. But the issue for Hartford is that 0 in the win column. They've been doing everything that Tab Ramos seems to want them to do. Pressure a lot more. Have chance creation. Put balls into the box. But the goals haven't been there yet. And as a result, neither have the wins. Here, they're facing one of the teams that was one of the worst in the league on the road last season. Only 2 wins away from Irvine for Orange County. Hartford would love for their luck to turn today.
As we look at our players to watch, we focus on the two teams' top goal scorers as they collide this afternoon.
Yeah, both of these sides hoping their luck will turn, and they're both turning to lucky number 7. Start with Milan Olowski. Won the Golden Boot last year. Watched him in the first 2 matches. He was knocking at the door, especially in their second match, a draw against Tampa Bay Rowdies. Then last week, had one of the most spectacular assists we'll see all season. Found the net for the first time, and Hartford will be in a bit of trouble if he put his goal-scoring boots in his carry-on luggage for that cross-country flight. For Hartford, it is also their number 7, Prince Sadie. Tab Ramos singing his praises to you and I, to post-game assembled media, saying this guy is amongst the best players in USL, full stop. Going so far as to say he is unstoppable in one-on-one situations. Found the goal twice in their season-opening loss at Monterey. Now on home soil, looking for the first goal that Hartford Athletic have been able to celebrate this season as a home side. I think if they find it, it'll go through him today.
Both teams looking to break into the win column. We'll come back with the starting lineups and the kickoffs. Glad you're with us for Hartford Athletic Soccer here on ESPN+.
An injured knee might look pretty simple, but there's a whole person behind that injury. One who misses the feel of his jump shot and spending time with friends on the court. It's not enough just to heal. He needs to get back out there. At Trinity Health, we're here to help you reach your goals. We combine all the knowledge and expertise of a national health system with personalized healthcare that treats the individual behind the injury. Because we see all of you.
Achievement takes more than having a dream. It takes having the spirit to beat the odds. It takes the courage to pursue a passion, the heart to turn a house into a home, and the determination to turn an idea into an enterprise. I'm the Hartford Buck, and I see the human in human achievement.
With insurance from the Hartford, the Buck's got
Hartford Athletic Soccer brought to you by Mandel JCC, the official fitness center of Hartford Athletic. Visit mandeljcc.org to learn more. And by Last Fly Airport Parking. Save 20% on your airport parking by pre-booking on lastfly.com. Starting lineups brought to you by Liberty Bank, and Phil, a familiar face on the back line back for Athletic.
Yeah, for Orange County, we'll start with Cody Cropper. He spent a few games here on loan a few years ago. 9 starts, 18 goals allowed, just 1 clean sheet. But of note here, Joe, 3 changes from a starting 11 that we had seen, guys who had started every match. No Emil Nilsson in the 11, no Brent Richards in the 11, no Kyle Scott in the 11, and he was somebody who gave Tab Ramos a measure of alarm with how he played and how this, I don't want to say patchwork midfield, but it's not the choice midfield because of Andre Lewis's absence and Kembo Cabato's absence. Barrera, Jessiel Cedeno, Beverly Makangila, a lot of those guys who are going to need to be possessing the ball well in wet conditions, wherein Hartford struggled last week on very same field conditions against Birmingham in their home opener here in Hartford.
Man in charge of the match is Eric Tattersall. He has done 1 USL Championship game this season. And we are underway, 59 degrees, winds out of the south. As you can see, Hartford in the familiar green and blue. Our keys to the game brought to you by Hoffman Auto Group.
Yeah, for Hartford, it's chance creation. Everything is there in terms of pressing and expected goals. They brought in Elvis Amo. You got to get the ball into the box for a guy who had 13 goals last season in Colorado, better than 30 for his USL career. And for Orange County, it's kind of where the ball is now, in the middle of the park. They have held well defensively, have Hartford when they've turned the ball over, but Orange County, if they can create a little bit of turnovers, create some havoc with this midfield tandem that's starting together for the first time, there will be opportunities to capitalize. And I think the surface is going to play very similar to how it did a week ago.
Tab Ramos admitted Hartford struggled adjusting to the wet conditions last week. Orange County lost its opener by a score of 3-1 to Louisville, then tied Tampa Bay at 1 and tied Las Vegas at 2. As you see, the man in charge, Eric Tattersall, he refereed a game on opening week, and he is the man in charge this afternoon. First ever meeting between these two teams. Of course, Orange County won the USL Championship in 21, beating Tampa Bay 3-1 in the championship match. And the ball sails wide, so Richard Sanchez will have a corner kick. When we were here to talk to Tab Ramos on Wednesday, we saw Richard Santos and goalkeeper coach Dan Gaspar coming up to take a look at some video.
Yeah, and I mean, for the goalkeeper, Richard Sanchez, he's a guy who played for the Mexican U17 national team in a World Cup final at Estadio Azteca, so he understands pressure and the need to win and get results. And in his defense, the goals against number for Hartford that sits bottom of the USL, it has very little to do with him. A lot of high percentage opportunities that Monterey capitalized on early on. And last week, Hartford did turn the ball over in the middle of the park far more than they would have liked. He and the defense largely stood tall. Birmingham's only goal came off a drop ball and a 25-yard shot.
Here's a quick counter. They're trying to get the ball to the 17-year-old in the middle, Bryce Jamison. When he and Sparky McNulty came in at halftime last week, they really ignited Orange County, and that's obviously what Richard Chaplow, their head coach, is looking for from the start.
Yeah, you mentioned Sparky McNulty. There are 9 players on this team that is based in Irvine from Northern Europe. They have a trio of Norwegians, a trio of Danes, a trio of Englishmen, and then the Scotsman in Sparky McNulty. So while this is the first road game for Orange County, I think the 5 Northern Europeans in the starting lineup are going to feel quite at home in these soggy conditions.
Here's Openo trying to be more creative. Tab Ramos saying he has had his best 2 weeks of practice. The Frenchman, Danny Barrera, all-time leading scorer in athletic history, back in the lineup as he battles with Kevin Partita. And it'll be a Hartford throw-in. Just the start of things here at Trinity Health Stadium. Crowd starting to file in. A little bit nicer day maybe than people expected weather-wise.
Yeah, we might have an orb in the sky that breaks out and shines some natural light onto the field, which wasn't an expectation here. So you hope, for the sake of this team's not going to be back on its home field again in league until May, that the home support comes out as the through ball goes into Milan Olofsky.
And Olofsky goes down in the penalty area. Both he and Kave Rad. Well, let's see what Eric Tattersall comes up with here.
He's given the foul. It looks like it's just outside the area. Of course, Orange County wants that to be a penalty kick, and Hartford thinks it shouldn't be a foul at all.
Olofsky, former star at UCLA.
Yeah, 23 goals and 46 career appearances for UCLA. He's on 23 goals right now for Orange County, which is one off the club record, as you see going in. Sheldon goes down, brings Olofsky down with him. And now Orange County gets the ball in a very dangerous area, 19 yards from goal, an early opportunity for them in the 5th minute.
So, as they sort things out, Trinity Health of New England, proud to be the official medical provider and title partner of Hartford Athletic. Always committed to providing the best healthcare experience every day for every patient. Trinity Health of New England, care that's always there as we see it again.
Yeah, Olofsky definitely goes down easily, but if it is a tangle of legs, and I misspoke, it was Kave Rad who was whistled for the foul there, and he's been issued a yellow card, cautioned for the challenge. This is an interesting spot for this free kick. Typically, if you see right on the top of the box, the ball right on the cusp of the area, it's kind of hard to get the ball up and down, but because it is, if you're looking at the goal, on the left side of things, there is space, especially if the kick taker elects to go far post to get it up and down. So it's going to put Richard Sanchez in a bit of a bind. He's certainly got to look for in-swinging, low, hard balls into the box, but then it certainly can get up and down and target that upper 90.
They march off the 10 yards and put on the spray paint. That's a recent creation that I find interesting.
Well, again, guys encroaching, especially defenders, looking for every inch to get closer to the ball. So as soon as it was put in play and it was done so successfully and quickly evaporated from the field, leagues around the world were quick to adapt.
Yeah. And increasing spray canister sales throughout the world.
There it is, near
Ball
post.
put in and a goal. So there it is, Milan Iloski with his second goal of the season, and he now ties as the all-time leading goal scorer in Orange County history.
Yeah, Michael Seaton, who had a few caps for the Jamaican national team, and the fact that this was off to the side, he beat Sanchez near post, which any goalkeeper will tell you they don't want to happen. You got to cover the near post, but that is tucked in pristinely, nearly inch perfect from Milan Iloski. And he was knocking at the door so much in their draw against Tampa Bay Rowdies, found the goal last week in that match, a draw against Las Vegas Lights at home. A player like him, once he gets confidence and a head of steam, it is a dangerous proposition. And now Hartford are in a position, Joe, that hasn't been kind to them, and that is conceding first. 18 times since the start of last season they've conceded first. Out of that, they've gotten just 3 draws and 15 losses.
We saw the fourth referee, Christian Centino, having a tough word with Tab Ramos on the Hartford bench. So once again, Athletic playing from behind. Iloski on the direct from, as Phil said, about 19 yards out. But when the goal comes this early, obviously if you're Hartford, tactically you're not looking to change anything.
No, it's still early. You still have so much match left. And again, I know it is a largely different team from Orange County a year ago, but they did drop 23 points from winning position last season. That is the worst in USL from a year ago. They've only kept 3 clean sheets since the start of last year. So all the emphasis that Tab Ramos and this staff have put on converting possession and movement in the attacking third to goals, it really comes to fruition here. But here's a turnover in the middle of the park, which they explicitly said they need to avoid.
Yeah, Makangila giving the ball away, and then the ball going over the touchline. It'll be Athletic ball. Beverly Makangila played last week, his first game since October, went 79 minutes. And Tab Ramos says he's rusty. His best soccer is probably 3 or 4 weeks away, but he's important in that center defense to what Hartford would like to do.
Yeah, he's going to have him track back, fill in, go with runners, and he did say last week Beverly has to be better. But Joe, like you said, it's functionally a preseason match for him, though on the fixture list it is very much not a preseason match, so the margin for error for Hartford is diminished, having already conceded on that Milan Iloski free kick.
And now Orange County, it'll be Iloski with the corner kick from the right of Richard Sanchez. Jesse El Cedeno, the one man there on the goal line on defense.
Man marking from Hartford, which they like to do.
And a nice steal by Danny Barrera.
Yeah, something right off the training ground from Orange County. We saw them deploy that successfully with Kyle Scott on the pitch last week. Barrera was wise to it, stepped in, and picked Iloski's pocket.
Here's a lead ball for McNulty, but Sanchez off the line.
Yeah, and the linesman had him offside anyway, but the referee just gave a play on since the ball went to Sanchez cleanly. Just keep the flow of the game going.
1-0 on the goal by Iloski as we are 10 minutes in. Please join us in thanking founding partner the Hartford for educating children about fire safety with their Junior Fire Marshal program. Visit juniorfiremarshal.com to learn more. Athletic trying to form the attack. Here's Barrera. Knocked in. Here's Amo. Amo puts it wide.
Did fool a few people in front of us hitting
yes,
the side
exactly.
netting. But that's the kind of thing that Hartford is going to be encouraged to see. They get the ball to Elvis Amo. He has a little bit of work left to do. Able to get decent contact just wide of the frame of goal. This has been the story all year. They brought in Amo from Colorado. 13 goals last season, just 1 so far this, and he didn't miss by much. It's a tough angle. He had Cropper beat high and near side, but in truth, Cropper had it covered well.
Amo tied for 10th in the league through 3 matches with 6 shots overall, but he's got the 1 goal. Could have had a chance last week from point-blank opportunity. in the match against Birmingham. Middle of the field, 15, is Ushish Chata.
Yeah, he played his college ball at San Francisco and UC Irvine, so he does not qualify for the guys from Northern Europe who are accustomed to these wet, dark, gray conditions in April.
A little too much pace on the pass into the corner, so it'll be athletic goal kick. Rad, who got called for that foul just outside the box that resulted in the goal, and Cropper, who is no stranger here to Trinity Health Stadium, played the final 9 matches of Hartford's inaugural season in 2019, getting 4 wins and a draw and 1 clean sheet.
And he's no stranger to Tab Ramos either. Remember, Ramos spent 7-8 years leading the U20s, and Cody Cropper had more than 20 career appearances for the U.S. men's U20 national team. And there was a spell where Tim Howard making his 1-year hiatus after the 2014 World Cup, that Cropper was in the list of names for guys who could fill in. Never got a senior team appearance, but he is well acquainted to high-level football.
Tried to lead Olaski, but Sanchez came off the line to pick it off. Number 5, Tristan Dixon, played twice for Trinidad and Tobago. Hartford also has Kyle Edwards back after his stint with St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where he scored on two penalty kicks.
He did, and they were very well placed. And he's somebody who Tab Ramos said because he went 90 minutes in both of those matches, whereas Hodge went 90 once and then came in as a substitute for Trinidad. Edwards was a little fatigued in the middle of the week. Given their shape, a 4-3-3, if this score does hold, he is certainly a candidate to sub in the second half. But 2 very well-placed penalties. Keeper guessed right on both, and yet the ball found the back of the net on both.
Here's Sadie, tries to lead Amo, but a little too much pace on that. What do you make of the Hartford attack thus far, Phil?
Well, they're certainly trying to get the ball over the top to Elvis Amo. You saw there maybe a little bit too much weight on the ball. This synthetic field being wet, the ball's going to skid around a little bit. They said that's something they learned last week. But a decent chance for Amo a few minutes ago. If I'm Hartford, I'm encouraged so long as I minimize those midfield turnovers. That there was one that nearly cost them right after the Olaski goal. And here they go, Matt Sheldon up to Opino for another opportunity with Hartford getting a deep throw.
It'll be Opino on the throw-in, or actually he will leave it for Matt Sheldon, making his 3rd start of the year.
And this Orange County back 4, they had played 270 minutes together. They did make a change, moving out Brent Richards, moving in Ryan Dogman. So they've made an adjustment as well, having conceded 6 goals. And unlike Hartford, it wasn't this avalanche in the first match per se. They gave up 3 to Lou City, but then they also gave up 2 last week to Las Vegas Lights. So while they are a little bit closer to where they want to be in terms of results, having 2 draws, still looking for that first win, they did want some cleaning up, it seems, on the back line. So Richards now available off the bench, Dogman in to start. Hartford with some measure of optimism as we approach the quarter-hour mark, but you can tell they're not a team that's going to beat you with possession. It's going to be compact counter and have some speed in transition in which you try and capitalize.
If you're wondering where Kembo Cabato is, he is out for a while. He broke a bone in his foot in last week's game with Birmingham Legion. Here's a lead ball intended for the teenager, Jameson. Orange County maintains possession. Olaski puts it into the box.
Yeah, you and I were marveling pre-match. Bryce Jameson does not have a build of a 17-year-old. He's the 3rd youngest goal scorer in USL history, 16 years, 275 days a year ago, and he is very well structured, a strong guy up front, not going to be bullied off the ball like we see some teenagers in the professional ranks.
Sadie with a good move on the goal line. Number 50 is the captain, Niall Lugg. Middle of the field, Amo can't get it, and it's played back to Cropper.
Yeah, it got very compact in there for Orange County, and I think that's what they're going to try and do, to choke down on this midfield when Hartford does get toward the attacking third, especially in slippery conditions where a ball over the top, there's less of a threat.
Hartford Athletic would like to thank Nuovo Pasta, Connecticut, and Stop and Shop for supporting our Goals for Meals program. For every Hartford Athletic goal scored this year, Nuovo Pasta, Connecticut, and Stop and Shop will donate meals to the Stop and Shop School Food Pantry program. Ball put on goal, and Cropper has to extend to make the catch.
Yeah, he had that read well, no drama at all for Cody Cropper. And Orange County in the position where I think they're going to try and possess the ball a lot more here and see if they can get Hartford stretched a little bit, having a little bit of success playing over the top to Ilosky in particular, but going for McNulty on the long ball there.
Rad with good defensive position, and they're going to call McNulty for the foul, and the 30-year-old from Edinburgh doesn't like the call. They feel he will provide a real offensive spark as we see the foul.
Well played. The 30-year-old Scotland international, he played for them in a Euro 2020 qualifier. Another number 9 for them, and just somebody to take the eyes off Ilosky up front. And Tab Ramos told us during the week, everybody knows Milan Ilosky, everybody has a plan to stop him. It's whether or not you execute it is up to you, but Orange County having another true experienced number 9, a guy who's played club ball for Hibs and Dundee United most recently in the Scottish Championship. It can only help them operate up front.
What did Mike Tyson says? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, yeah. And Joe, I mentioned that stat earlier. It bears repeating. Since the start of last year, the number's 18. 18 times Hartford has scored first, 18 times they've conceded first. In the 18 matches they've scored first, they have 10 wins. 3 draws, 5 losses. That's 33 points in 18 matches. In the 18 games they've conceded first, no wins, 3 draws, 15 losses. That's 3 points in 18 matches. And all season, for a team that has struggled to play from behind, or get results, I should say, from behind, they've only led for 18 minutes all year, and very quickly they fall behind in this situation. So a less than ideal start as Niall Logue cleans up a risky crossfield pass.
Cedeno plays it up on the right wing.
Good first touch.
Sheldon.
Second touch wasn't as good.
Yeah, goes over the goal line, so it will be a goal kick for Orange County. Richard Chaplow named the interim coach in August of 21 as you see Matt Sheldon appears to have some sort of a leg issue, holding his ankle.
And you hope that's something he can walk off. Tab Ramos was singing his praises earlier this week for somebody in Sheldon who really struggled in their season opening match, that 5-3 loss at Monterey Bay, earned his spot back in the 11 and was in fine form last week against Birmingham Legion. Now this is the first time we've seen this back four since that game against Monterey Bay, a game coincidentally in which they conceded early and had to play from behind. Hartford responded well twice in that case, coming from behind. It looks like Sheldon is moving around okay now as he settles back into his right back position.
Yeah, won his job back by Hardworth. Nice play by Cedeno. Slide tackle knocks it away. All green shirts there. 1-0 on the Ilosky goal at the 7-minute mark. Hartford on the counter. Drop back to Makangilla. Beverly in the middle to Barrera.
Hodge all alone outside. Ashapalan was able to get in this position frequently last week, and Tab Ramos was critical that he was able to get the ball in space and not do much with it. Started to play very negatively and pass back. Hodge coming back from international duty, you certainly hope, especially with Hartford already being behind, play more positively there. But
you saw a little of the rustiness from Makangilla there. Had a chance to connect on a pass and keep the attack going, and just kind of lazily went out of bounds over the touchline. Still Hartford ball, but still Athletic had an opportunity. Barrera can't control.
Options thin for Hartford in midfield, so they're going to need more out of Beverly Makangila.
Cedeno trying to get it to Amo. Punted out of there and cleared by Jamison. Back comes Orange County on the counter. Here's McNulty, but Sanchez hesitates, and McNulty's shot is an easy save.
That was an absolutely brilliant ball. I don't know if he can do it justice. We're at a perfect vantage point for it. That was hit with backspin in front of McNulty. It held up on the grass. He was able to run onto it, but he put the ball right at Richard Sanchez.
Danny Barrera trying to create. Back to Makangilla. Plays it square to Logue. The captain. Pass on the left side to an open Tristan Hodge. Hodge puts it towards goal, but it's played by Cropper. Hartford Athletic would like to thank our founding partner, Travelers. Thanks to Travelers, presenting partner of our Community Champion program. Children from underserved communities throughout Greater Hartford are able to come to the matches free of charge. 1-0 as we play in the 22nd minute here at Trinity Health Stadium. Jody Ambrosio and Phil Murphy sitting in for Mark Donaldson, who's on assignment. You know, I've had dates in my life that was one day and out. I've never had a broadcast partner who was one and out, but Phil, good to be with you.
Great to be with you as well, Joe.
Familiar with your work on ESPN. Here's McNulty again, and Sanchez heads it over on the side to Sheldon. Good aggressiveness by Richard Sanchez.
Yeah, and good composure when he comes out of his box, and it was a dangerous placement of the ball. He read his back line well. Sheldon was all on his own. Simple header in the end.
19, Kevin Partita. He's got 1 goal this season, scored against Louisville. A nice give and go with Brent Richards, who didn't make the starting 11 today, as we talked about some changes. McNulty, Jameson, Ryan Dogman, number 23, all inserted into the starting lineup for some guys in Kyle Scott and Richards, who had played a lot. Emil Nielsen.
Emil Nielsen had started every match, the Danish Bull, and he and Kyle Scott are 2 guys who started every match, played 65 to 70 minutes, and then ended up going to the bench. And I think it's Richard Chaplow just trying to mix things up, because as Orange County does have the lead here, they're still in a position which, similar to Hartford, they had rationale to think they should have beaten Tampa Bay. They should have beaten Las Vegas Lights. Unlike Hartford, they've been home all 3 matches, so for them really wanting a result here, they did mix things up, and 3 or 4 guys we've seen start every match for them are on the bench, available in the 18, but not in the starting 11.
Coming into today, Hartford was 19th in a 24-team league in passing accuracy at just 74%, and we're seeing a little bit of that in the first 23 minutes.
Yeah, and so much of that, too. Again, you hate to harp on it again and again, but it's the reality of it. You have a player in Andre Lewis who's still a couple weeks from returning, Kembo Cabato who's further away from returning, much longer timetable for his return. Guys who, high-energy players, can be trusted to possess the ball for a team that's already limited in terms of options to hold up the ball and possess it and work through a back line in that way. You're going to have guys in the middle of the park who are, playing riskier passes to begin with and just have a higher propensity for turnovers, as Hartford commits a foul and gives the possession right back to Orange County.
Makangila got tied up with McNulty. So it will be Orange County, as you mentioned, a big game for Hartford, because Tab Ramos talks about the fact you should win your home games. And after today, they don't have a league home game until May the 6th, and then they're home for 5 straight and 7 out of 8.
Yeah, they have Charleston Battery on the road. They have a U.S. Open Cup match at home in the midweek, but in terms of the USL table, they travel to Charleston, they travel to Oakland, a very long trip, and then they travel back to Birmingham, a team they just faced here, in a road environment for a team that currently sits atop the East.
Logan, those distinctive orange cleats. Knockham and Amo get tied up, and the ball rolls harmlessly to Cody Cropper.
Yeah, if you're ever confused about Logue's national allegiance, just you can look at him from the knees down. Hartford green, orange boots. It's Ireland, not Northern Ireland.
Orange County with the only 2 shots on target. One of them went in as Sheldon gets taken down on the far side. As one of those new starters, Ryan Dogman, 25-year-old from Oslo, commits the foul. So it will be Sanchez. Put the ball back in play for Athletic. Lyco Office Furniture, a proud sponsor of the Hartford Athletic. For over 40 years, Lyco Office Furniture has been furnishing startup to Fortune 500 companies all over New England. Go to lycoinc.com to learn more. We'll have a throw-in. Deep in the corner by Elvis Amo. Plays the ball back. Here's Barrera. Tries to split the double team and has the ball taken away.
Yeah, no real options for him as he looked around. Amo was in the corner, nobody in the box making any demands for the ball.
Good play by Hodge, because Jameson was on a roll, but Bryce Jameson gets it back. And it'll be a corner, second of the game for Orange County. Their goal came from about 19 yards out after a foul called on Kave Rad just outside of the box. And Ilaski put it in with a left footer. Now it'll be Milan Ilaski to set it up with an outswinger, probably from the right side, the right-footed kicker. Kind of a pump fake. Hartford does a very good job defending set pieces. Here's a shot kept alive, and the header goes wide. So it'll be a goal kick as Andrew Fox came up from the defense to get a head on it.
Not a lot of size in the box for Orange County on those corners, and we've seen them already today and last week against Las Vegas have some kind of cheeky interchanges off the training ground. They've had a measure of success with. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a design set play out of them again on a future corner.
Cedeno from Openo gets it back to Hodge. Leaves for Openo, has it tackled away and over the touchline by Kevin Partita. So Tristan Hodge, 26-year-old, on next Sunday. And let's see what the man in charge, Mr. Tattersall, has here as Hodge goes down. And I think he's got a foul on Orange County, so basically kind of like a short corner here.
It is, and the 17-year-old Bryce Jamison a little overzealous there in a spot where Hodge wasn't in danger of creating a chance. Jamison stepped in, maybe a little bit of inexperience in the fact that he's also an attacking player being called into defense. But yeah, it's 6 yards in from a corner. You expect number 9, Elvis Almo, to be on the short list of targets here for Hartford.
Openo will take it from the right of Corey Cropper. Athletic set pieces have been one of their strong points thus far in the season. Tab Ramos likes the way they work on those. Giving a lot of credit to assistant coach Omar Namazi. Into the box, cleared out. Be a corner for Hartford, their first of the match.
Targeting Prince Sadie, whose name we haven't said a lot thus far. I think Orange County's done a good job of neutralizing him.
Well, if we realize he's one of the keys to the game, I'm going to give you their realize he's one of the keys to the game.
Yeah, Richard Chaplow's been around the block a little bit. I'm confident he knew that number 7 was a focal point.
Openo to take it as Barrera cleans out. Put towards the box, goes through, and it'll be a goal kick for Orange County. So Hartford's had a couple of opportunities in the last couple of minutes, but nothing comes of it. And when you're having problems scoring goals, that's the kind of thing that happens. You think once you get one in the back of the net, then maybe things open up for you a little bit.
Yeah, you think once you get the one, it'll snowball pretty quickly. The problem is they haven't had the one. And on this field, it was a similar story last week against Birmingham. A keeper makes a terrific save at the end of the first half. Antoine Openo misses a sitter in the second half. Jaciel Cedeno has a great shot outside the box. The keeper's just wise to and is fast and accurate in getting to the ground and pushing it wide. So margins are small, but margins have been small. And Tab Ramos isn't making any excuses. He's saying we need that little bit of quality in the end, and they just haven't been able to find it. And coming up on 180 minutes.
Today's youth soccer team of the match, Paparong Soccer Club. Jody Ambrosio, Phil Murphy, Trinity Health Stadium, 1-0 in favor of Orange County. Both these squads looking for their first victory of the season. Tristan Hodge will play it back. Logue gives it to Barrera. Crosses into Orange County territory, marked by Jamison. Little difference in ages there.
But high press from Orange County for guys who we know haven't gone 90 minutes in these matches, and Jamison and McNulty. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they've been instructed to go all gas, no brakes for 60, 65 minutes,
right.
And then we'll find the guys who had been starters in Kyle Scott or Emil Nielsen, sub them on as needed early in the second half.
Amo called for taking down Alex Villanueva.
Villanueva, like Olofsky, was in the Team of the Week last week. Had the goal on a brilliant assist, an overhead volley from Olofsky, the first of 2 goals for Orange County at home in a draw to Las Vegas.
Dangerous pass by Barrera, and Makangilla there, along with Rad. Hartford starts to counter. Here's Sheldon. Taken off his foot by Daniel Peterson, 30-year-old out of Silkeborg, Denmark.
Yeah.
You're right. This is the Northern European team.
It is, and that's why there's a little bit of a misnomer thinking the guys from Irvine, California are going to come out here and struggle in the rain. Daniel Peterson's youth national team experience with Denmark. He's worn the captain's armband for them before. So he as much as anybody, is going to be just fine in these conditions.
Villanueva takes it off the boot of Openo. Now Partita plays it ahead. Knocked over the touchline by Makangila. Richard Chaplow helping out there, the head coach. So it'll be a throw in for Alex Villanueva. And you're right, that goal on the assist by Ilowski against Las Vegas, that was clearly one of the goals of the season.
Yeah, and it just shows Ilowski's creative ability and the danger he presents when the ball's in his vicinity in the attacking third. He had no business making that high level of service where that ball was. Running at it, overhead volley the other way, and Villanueva, the 20-year-old left back, was wise to run onto it and brave to run onto it on the back post.
Villanueva, the only player to play in all 34 matches last year for Orange County.
Yeah, he took over the left back spot for them in 2022, a Seattle Sounders Academy player. Team of the week. I mean, people are starting to recognize him. He may only be 20, but his experience with this team surpasses that.
Lowe changes fields. Cross to Rad. Speed ball for Sheldon. Marked on the play by Chata.
Hodge is screaming for it on the left side.
Now Cedeno gets it to Tristan Hodge. Serves it into the box. Here's a shot. And Amo with a pretty run onto the ball. He waits, takes his time getting up. Just missed connections there.
And that's what Tab Ramos wanted from Ash Apollon last week. Get the ball in space, find number 9, put it in the box, put it on him. It would have been a very difficult finish for Elvis Amo. Cody Cropper was quick to get out. Amo gets a boot to it, and at that point you're just trying to redirect it on the 20-odd feet wide that the goal is. But that's encouraging from Hartford. That's what they want to do. Get Hodge in space, serve it in the box, and look for Elvis Amo.
Well, and you're right. Hodge was wide open, calling for the ball there. And when they got it with him, he served it immediately.
He knew exactly.
Didn't dilly-dally with it. Didn't go backwards, which is one of the things that Ramos was disappointed with Ash Apollon last week.
Yeah, and he said if you're watching Ash Apollon, he's getting the ball in 20 yards of space and then plays negatively. That's exactly what he wanted. Put the ball into the box. Low-risk play, especially there. There was no threat for Orange County to counter. And that's when messy things happen. You don't know if that ball's going to scoot off Elvis Amo to the feet of Prince Sadie, and he got his right boot to it. Didn't miss by all that much.
Ball has been predominantly down in the Hartford offensive end, but still unable to get a shot on target here.
It's a good spell of play for Hartford, but they always have to be mindful of 7, 9, and 11 for Orange County. Every time Orange County gets the ball, they're looking for that big area of grass between midfield and where Richard Sanchez is.
Partita starting the counter.
3v3.
Here's a shot towards the goal. Ilowski, boot saved by Sanchez, and a beauty.
That's the exact type of thing Orange County was looking to doing. Stay compact and spring out. Richard Sanchez made a great save there. That's something that Milan Ilowski, making that kind of contact, puts away 8 or 9 times out of 10.
Barrera's pass a little too heavy on the sauce, but that was a great play by Richard Sanchez coming off the line.
At that point, all you can do as a goalkeeper is make yourself big. You're not going to have any time to react or read the shot. You're just trying to get in the way. It's more of a block than it is a save, and he got a block there and kept this margin at 1.
Hartford Athletic would like to thank our founding partners, Trinity Health of New England, Travelers, The Hartford, Liberty Bank, and Stanley Black & Decker. There's a tackle in the box. Cedeno trying to make a play in there, as well as Openo.
We saw Cedeno last week in a similar circumstance get the ball on his left foot, take a shot from outside the box, and put it on frame. There, Orange County closed him out quickly, wasn't able to.
Ilowski and Barrera get tangled up. They try to get a little advantage here, and Eric Tattersall says, no, move the ball back.
I tell you, you have to give credit where credit's due. So far, it seems, aside from the disputed penalty that I'm sure if you're clad in green and blue, you felt it was a little harsh, the foul call that led to the free kick and the goal. Since then, I don't think it's up for debate. He's been in control of this match.
Here's a long lead ball. Biloski and Logue knocks it over. So we'll have the third corner of the first half for Orange County. What do you expect to see here, Phil?
Well, I'm not seeing any instruction from the bench. Tipping their hand, Orange County, they like to run an attacking player along the goal line sometimes and just feed it there to get back to Orlovsky. It seems like this is going to be just an outswinging, your normal corner, nothing off the training ground.
Sails through, and we'll go over the touch line, and it'll be Hartford ball.
Hartford trying to play quickly and get numbers.
You want to really get going here. Prince Sadie was back, but gives it away. Rear bad pass, Chatham right there, and knocked over the touchline on the far side.
Opportunity to switch again.
Here's Amo, taking off his foot. Pulaski to Jameson, lead ball for McNulty. Too hard, Rad plays it upfield. Nice play by Cave Rad, who has not stepped off the pitch at all this season. Jameson collides with Makangila.
He and Niall Logue both, every minute that Hartford's played, they've been on the field, and that's what you want for a center back pairing, especially a center back pairing that didn't play together last year. Get that experience together, get the experience with your goalkeeper from the start of the season, and have that consistency.
Peterson on the attack, changes direction, tries to play a through ball, but a nice job that time by Cedeno. Makangila will get it back to Sanchez, who will try to quickly start a counter. 39th minute of play here. 1-0 in favor of Orange County. Far side, here's Prince Sadie. 1v1 with Dogman. To the top of the box, puts it through Amo. Couldn't get a foot on it. Cedeno's shot is blocked. Villanueva gives it away. Shot and saved by Cropper. Good job that time by Matt Sheldon with the follow-up, but Cody Cropper was right there.
And Cropper just trying to take a little bit of a sting out of that Hartford approach, because Cedeno had a little weight behind his shot. That was blocked. It falls to Sheldon. And these are little things that Hartford is going to have to accrue and build up and just get more and more shots on goal. You get the ball on frame, good things ultimately will happen.
Kyle Edwards looks like he's going to be coming in the match in the first half here.
Yeah, 40th minute substitution, so close to halftime. It's a curious change, but Tab Ramos did tell us during the week that a 4-3-3 shape, which is at least what they told us pre-match they would be in, was conducive to putting Edwards up front.
Sparky McNulty down on the pitch, being attended to by the head athletic trainer, Alex Burke. Hartford Athletic would like to extend a special thanks to our partners, Jim Beam Bourbon and Hornitos Plata Tequila. Well, Beverly Macangila's day will be coming to a pretty quick end, as Kyle Edwards, who scored 2 penalty kick goals in international play for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, will come in the match. What do you make of the change?
It's early for a change, but I think Tab Ramos his chief concern was turnovers in the middle of the park, and we've seen a few of them. Going back on tape, if Beverly Makangila was the culprit on those, it doesn't surprise me that he has the quick trigger going to his bench, though still 5 minutes before halftime, he had to see something he really didn't like of Makangila to make that change. But now you got a player in Kyle Edwards, 180 minutes on international duty last week, playing with confidence. Maybe he's thinking that he's the one who's seen the ball go in the net, even though not even for this side, can get that 0 off the scoreboard for Hartford for the first time in some time.
Edwards played 16 minutes in the opener for Athletic. As the sun, that orb comes out. Phil, you correctly predicted it.
I know. I mean, we got a color correct. They're not prepared for this.
Here's Barrera. And Antoine Opino can't control it.
They're going to be disappointed there. Opino had some space, just kind of an unlucky in-between hop. Ball goes out of bounds, and the threat goes by the wayside.
So it will be a throw-in for Villanueva. Back to Nakim. Now Jamison tussles with Hodge. Golaski over there. Barrera tries to steal the throw-in, and he does.
This is a very important stretch of play for Hartford. This is where, against Monterey, they saw a 2-2 game turn into a 4-2 game in the final minutes of the first half. If they can go into the changing room level or down a goal, there's reasons for confidence and optimism with how the recent minutes have gone, but we've seen Orange County be able to have a threat on the counter.
Sadie into the box, and Openo can't get a boot on it.
That was a weird height. He's a shorter guy. It was kind of chest high for him. Does he go at it with the head? Does he go at it with the boot? That left foot from Prince Sadie, the left-footed player, a nice, low, hard, in-swinging cross. Openo just kind of between minds. Maybe if he takes that again as a diving header, has a better shot of getting it in.
But Hartford is starting to look better on the offensive third.
Oh, they're threatening, and that's why I'm saying this is a very important stretch of play, because as they start to lean forward and gain some confidence, Milanolowski in particular, Bryce Jamison, those guys are waiting to break out and catch Hartford's defense, maybe napping a little bit, and double this margin before the half. Here's Kyle Edwards getting his first touches.
Edwards against Dogman, and Dogman will boot it out. Number 17, Emil Nielsen, into the game for Orange County. I believe McNulty came out after he got banged up.
Yeah, it would be McNulty. It's unfortunate that he's not able to continue, but Nielsen's a guy who's started 3 matches for Orange County. He went 60, 65 minutes in each of those, so he's going to be comfortable taking this to the end.
Here's Logue. Shot is blocked. Jesse El Cedeno will get it back to Matt Sheldon. Knocked over the touch line by the defense. Chetta knocks it out. Into the box. Amo goes right through, and Cropper there to make the play.
And that was dangerous, too. Kevin Partita tried to block that, which is what you want to do as a defender, but that's when it can take a kind of a funky hop, and Kyle Edwards was there waiting. Ball goes through to Cropper. It's easy in the end, but again, just another half chance, half threat, and those are going to add up.
Only goal of the match came 7 minutes in. Milan Iloski is second of the year, 24th of his Orange County career, and here he is. Jamison trying to run out of the through ball, sends it in front, and it just gets by as Emil Nielsen was right there, and it goes over the goal line, and it'll be another corner kick for Orange County, their 4th of the opening stanza.
Yeah, Hodge got a piece of that when it came across. I don't know if Sanchez realized it. I don't know if the defender on the back post realized it. Just kind of shepherded it over the goal line. Now it's a scoring an opportunity for yet another corner for Orange County.
Bricknell Vineyard stoppage time. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Outswinger headed into the box, but only green shirts there, and Rad boots it away.
Yeah, get it out and exhale.
Right.
Joe, I mentioned it earlier in the game. Orange County, 7 matches last season they led at halftime. They only won 2 of those. A lot of changes in the side, but still, if you're Hartford, you're seeing that your confidence should be building. You should be feeling pretty good about where you're at here and over the last 45 minutes for them. And now with Kyle Edwards in the game, you have a guy who's a forward-thinking player, an attacking player. The question, again, is always circles back to how they handle the ball in the middle of the field.
Tab Ramos off the bench. Counter. Cedeno, who's been active in the first half. Openo bangs it off, an Orange County player, and Hartford will have its second corner kick of the first half.
They're going quick.
Back to Danny Barrera. Deals on the right to Openo. Deflected and cleared out. Barrera tries to control. One touch pass to Openo. Antoine cuts to the middle. Tries to play it through. Knocked away. Openo might have gotten away with a hard slide tackle that time on Peterson. Ball cleared out. Consistent pressure by Athletic. Here's Lowe. Player still down. Puts one on goal and shoots it wide.
Logue didn't miss by all that much, and the shot that came in, it seemed like Cropper saw it late. Pace and placement's one that you would think he would get two hands to, but he was a little bit slow to get to ground. I wonder if his view was obstructed, kept it out of the net, which is the important thing, and didn't spill it in a high-risk area. Or maybe he took a bit of a deflection on the way through. But Orange County exhales. They're minutes away from what seems like a much-needed timeout.
Daniel Peterson is the Orange County player down and injured. He was the victim of that slide tackle by Opino. As Jesse L. Cedeno goes to have a word, you can see Richard Cropper, or Richard Chaplow, I should say, having a word. And the fourth official, Cristiano Centino, trying to escort him back to his bench.
Yeah, we'll forgive you for the Richard Cropper, because Chaplow and Cropper did play together at Southampton. It was part of his recruitment to Orange County.
Very familiar with one another.
And for all of those watching in Irvine, this is the earliest kickoff for Orange County this season, so we appreciate you guys joining us on this side of lunch.
Yeah, having a little brunch in Orange County, probably.
I'd imagine avocado toast is involved.
Not for me. I'm sorry. I'll pass. You look like a health nut, though. It looks like it would be right up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, it's quantity, so I could have a few avocado toasts.
Oh, there you go. See, I'd never thought of it that way. I like the way you think, Murphy. Throwing on the far side. Double teamed is Nielsen. Good job by Athletic to keep it in. Barrera plays square to Matt Sheldon, who's had an active first 45 plus. Now Logue in the middle to an open Cedeno. Jesse L. Cedeno distributes left. Here's Hodge. Puts it into the box. Headed out of there. Barrera will keep possession to Cedeno. Jesse L. plays to Opino. Changes to the right to Prince Sadie. Trying to control. Dogman comes out on him. Sadie reverses. Stutter steps. Into the box. Too far. Nobody there. Too high for Antoine Opino. And it goes over the goal line, so it'll be a goal kick for Orange County as we are close to the end of the first half.
Sadie did well to get that back to his favored left foot, just a little too heavy on his distribution, and Cody Cropper is going to take his sweet time with his goal kick, hoping that this is the final kick of the ball where Orange County can get back to the changing room and talk about things. And watching Daniel Peterson since he popped up from that stoppage, he does seem to be moving around okay. He is a candidate for somebody who might be subbed off 10-15 minutes into the second half, but as of right now, it doesn't seem like any lingering effects of that slide tackle.
Middle of the field, Partita. Couldn't find Nielsen. Now on the counter, here's Sheldon. Lead ball for Edwards. Kyle Edwards towards the goal line. Slid in front. Amo, left footer, goes free. And that's going to be there's an injury down there.
Yeah, they stopped play right away for any suspected head injuries. And it looks like I don't know if it was a ball or we'll see on a replay in a moment, but took a shot to the face that the referee was quick to stop play.
Good job by Eric Tattersall. Can't see the number of the injured player. Ooh.
Yeah. Shot from
Amo.
Yard away from Amo. Marcus Nakim, the Norwegian, took that right to the face. No opportunity to react or brace or even lean back and absorb it. And that's a point of emphasis. Any suspected potential head injury, they're going to stop the ball right away. They've been taking a bounce outside. This will be a drop ball situation once he's tended to.
Already 6 minutes into injury time. Nakim gets up. Marcus Nakim, 26-year-old from Oslo. A terrific college career. And looks like he will stay in.
Yeah, and the more I see this replay, I mean, Elvis Amo did a tremendous job getting any kind of weight behind that shot and getting it on frame. And Nakim, that's what a central defender's job is. It's not a glamorous part of the job, but get big, arms down, be brave for your goalkeeper. Cody Cropper owes him a hug because that did not feel good, and it certainly kept a shot on goal from being all the way to the goal.
So, it'll be a drop ball. Opino and Villanueva there. Now, Cedeno walks Knockham off the pitch.
Yeah, so that was a situation in which the referee, because he stopped play, Knockham had to leave the pitch. Hartford knows it's getting late in this first half stoppage time. The longer Knockham takes to get to the sideline, the
I
less
thought it was nice
scoring
Cedeno escorted him off.
Yeah, just helping him get there quickly, just in case, his bearings weren't yet about him. But a little bit of gamesmanship there from Knockham, trying to drain a little bit more of the clock. Hartford's going to get a drop ball here. And we saw Birmingham score off a drop ball last game.
Here's Opino through the box. Shot. And a goal! Elvis Amo ties the game at 1. His second goal of the year. And Phil, I think that's justified because of the way Hartford had been dominating the attack for the last 20 minutes or so.
Definitely deserved, and right off the drop ball, Antoine Opino had a plan. Get it to his left foot, get it in the box, and Kyle Edwards climbs the ladder, can't get enough on it, but knows Elvis Amos at the back post, and at that point, it's laces through the ball, knees over the ball. No one's ever missed a shot too low. Just don't send it into the parking lot, and you have a great opportunity to get on the score sheet.
Elvis Amos' second goal of the year. And we're deadlocked at 1. That one came in the 53rd minute.
8th minute of first half stoppage time. Hartford gets on the board. And there's the halftime whistle.
So, Athletic rewarded for their persistence. And Elvis Amo with the equalizer. We played 45 minutes plus. First it was Milan Elaski on a direct kick from just outside the box. Then after a drop ball, Elvis Amo with the game-tying goal. All even at 1 as the sun comes out, maybe prophetic here at Trinity Health Stadium, right near I-91 in Hartford. Phil and I will be back. We'll have our halftime activities next.
Tab's gotta love that.
Oh my God, yes.
We know you are more than someone feeling the heart. At Trinity Health, we know the importance of seeing the person behind the patient. The
Fear, the joy, the journey. Bringing you the expert medical teams and state-of-the-art technological advancements of a national health system, along with the personalized care that helps you feel better. Because we see all of you.
Equal at 1. Milan Elaski in the 7th minute. Elvis Amo in the 53rd. And Phil, this week, round 2 of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup will take place. And for teams from USL Championship, you want to avoid disaster against teams that might not be quite at your level, but will be playing with equal, if not more, intensity.
Yeah, 99 teams from around the country started this iteration of the U.S. Open Cup. We were close to a Hartford derby, Hartford City FC up 1-0 on Lansdowne, and then Joe DeVivo scored twice. So Lansdowne will be here Tuesday night, 7 p.m. local time against Hartford Athletic, and then that's the last time Hartford Athletic will see this pitch in over a month. They have 3 road games in league before they come back for 7 of 8 or 8 of 9, whatever it is, through May and June, where they'll get very, very familiar with the home confines.
If you're a USL Championship team, how do you approach the Open Cup? Do you play some guys, since you played today, if you're Hartford, that maybe won't see the pitches much today?
You want to get anybody who's carrying any injury, they're automatically, I think, out of selection. But yeah, so some of your younger guys, some of your guys who maybe just need a debut and get some time with the club, and it's not going to surprise Tab Ramos. This is chess, not checkers. He's coming into this match with a plan, very aware of what's going on Tuesday night here at home in the U.S. Open Cup.
So tickets available for that game on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Here at Trinity Health Stadium. We will come back with a look around USL Championship next. Hartford, Orange County, equal at 1.
We'd like to give a big thank you to our season ticket members. We sincerely appreciate your support this season. This afternoon's Business Alliance partner of the match is Tudor Jet. Partner Athletic would like to thank Kelly partner New England Airport Products for their support. And of course, thank you to our founding partners, City of the Hartford, Liberty Bank, Stanley Black & Decker, and Travelers. Okay, kids, let's wish a happy birthday to Jalea McFadden. Happy 8th birthday, Noah. And a very happy birthday to Jillian Shealy. Welcome to students and families from Correct Washington Multiple Choice Program. Welcome to students and families from the Smart Start Preschool and Learning Center. Welcome to students and families from Kaiserville Memorial Elementary School and Eli Whitney Elementary School. And let's all welcome Papa Soccer Club. And welcome to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
There's a whole person behind that injury. One who misses the feel of his jump shot and spending time with friends on the court. It's not enough just to heal. He needs to get back out there. At Trinity Health, we're here to help you reach your goals. We combine all the knowledge and expertise of a national health system with personalized health care that treats the individual behind the injury. Because we see all of you.
In Hartford, the game tied at 1 as Hartford equalized it in stoppage time in the first half, and it's a busy first weekend of April in USL Championship.
Yeah, it started last night. Tulsa tying El Paso Locomotive 2-2 in a terrific match. You can go check that out on ESPN Plus if you haven't seen it. But a couple matches that stand out to me: Tampa Bay Rowdies and Birmingham Legion, team that's played each of the teams in our game here. That's at 7:30 p.m. tonight. Two teams with high hopes for the season. Birmingham certainly atop the Eastern Conference at the moment. And then some of the later kickoffs: Sacramento Republic against Louisville FC at 10 should be really fun from that game.
All right, let's go around the league. And Benny Diaz of El Paso with an accomplishment that's pretty rare in this sport.
And a shocking result. Benny Diaz on a short list of goalkeepers to have a clean sheet and record an assist. First player in that club's history to ever do so. But that result came out of nowhere. El Paso Locomotive lost 3 times at home. Then they go to Lou City and win 3-0. A shocking result.
Next weekend, Athletic will be in Charleston. They'll see one of the best young players in the league in Fidel Barajas.
Yeah, 16 years old. It breaks the record for the youngest goal in club history. Only a few days older than was Bryce Jamison of Orange County when he scored his first goal. So, man, at 16, I had to get a ride to the field, and these guys are here scoring in the USL.
And the amazing thing is he's only 32nd in the list of the youngest goal scorers in the league.
It's remarkable, but it just speaks to what an opportunity this league presents for players who have the skills, just need a little bit of structure and a little bit of playing time to really tap into those skills and maximize their ultimate football trajectory. And a guy I keep going back to from this match who's analogous to that is Bryce Jamison, who looks like a grown man on the pitch and is one of the more dangerous options for Orange County, I think, in the second half.
And as we alluded to, Phil, this week you want to avoid upsets, and more importantly, you want to avoid injuries.
Oh, that's the bigger thing. And you mentioned with Hartford in particular, one of 23 USL clubs in U.S. Open Cup action. They'll be here against Lansdowne, and then they go on the road for 3 straight against Charleston, against Oakland, against Birmingham. So need to build on the momentum in this game, certainly, and need to build on whatever momentum comes out of this in the U.S. Open Cup on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock.
Well, we've already seen one adjustment by Tab Ramos. He inserted Kyle Edwards, and it worked perfectly. What adjustments do you think we'll see from both teams here in the second half?
Well, for Tab Ramos, most of his substitution options now are defensive. The exceptions to that, Connor McGlynn and Jonathan Philippe, I think we'll see one, if not both of them in the second half. For Orange County, I'm surprised we haven't seen Kyle Scott. I was surprised he wasn't in the 11. He was somebody who plays a little bit of a withdrawn 9 role that Tab Ramos was very worried about how they were going to track him and cover him. I think that's going to be an adjustment we see from Orange County in the second half. Get him in the mix, get him coming back behind the midfielders, getting possession, and trying to wreak a little havoc on Hartford's defensive midfield strategy. They typically go man-to-man, and it's a challenge to track somebody that far back and keep any measure of balance.
You take a look at Connor McGlynn, who has played in 1 game already. The goal scored so late, you almost wish you didn't have to go into the locker room.
Oh, yeah. Orange County was much more eager to hear that halftime whistle than was Hartford. You saw that with Marcus Nakeem taking his sweet time getting to the sideline. But credit for Antoine Opino. He was disappointed in his ability to finish chances last match. He gets one last opportunity off a drop ball. All eyes on him. Puts a beautiful ball into the box. And finally, Hartford sees one of those opportunities yield a goal.
Hartford with 3 shots on target. They had only 9 all season coming into today. Athletic and Orange County tied at 1. Second half coming up next here from Trinity Health Stadium.
An injured knee might look pretty simple, but there's a whole person behind that injury. One who misses the feel of his jump shot and spending time with friends on the court. It's not enough just to heal. He needs to get back out there. At Trinity Health, we're here to help you reach your goals. We combine all the knowledge and expertise of a national health system with personalized health care that treats the individual behind the injury. Because we see all of you.
Achievement takes more than having a dream. It takes having the spirit to beat the odds. It takes the courage to pursue a passion, the heart to turn a house into a home, and the determination to turn an idea into an enterprise. I'm the Hartford Buck, and I see the human in human achievement.
With insurance from the Hartford, the Bucks got
Last one, who wants it?
Just before we kick off the second half, Phil, let's take a look at the first half stats.
Yeah, as the sun comes out here in Hartford, things a little bit of a sunnier disposition you'd imagine on Hartford's sideline. They really had momentum there toward the end of that second half. You see that reflected in the possession statistics and the shots. They were peppering the goal, just couldn't get it on frame. When they finally did, they get the equalizer in the final seconds of the first half.
You look at that shot stats, 12 shots for Hartford. They had only 26 in the first 3 games this year, so the emphasis on increasing the attack certainly paying off in the first 45.
And the emphasis on targeting Elvis Ammo, somebody who we know is just going to, every time the ball gets at his feet, he's thinking, how can I get this on frame? That happened in the equalizer. That happened in some of the build-up before the equalizer. So now the onus shifts back to Orange County to say, how are you going to counter the counter? Because as we kick off the second half, Hartford seems to have the momentum.
Both teams stay with the same 11 that ended the half. Kyle Edwards had come in for Hartford. Here's a ball played through. Hartford in big trouble, and Sanchez takes it off the foot of Olowski and starts the counter.
Yeah, Emil Nielsen disappointed with himself. Richard Sanchez should be very proud of himself for coming out. He had a massive save in the first half. Orange County were very close to making it 2-0, and that was 2v none, and he was able to read and intercept that pass.
Cedeno tries to play it through. Can't get it around. Dogman plays it upfield. Nobody there but open turf. I would think these first 5-10 minutes critical for Hartford here in the second half to try to continue the momentum that they had at the end, the last 15-20 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, and not the best start for them as Orange County get the clear best chance of the early part of the second half thus far. But we'll see what adjustments these teams made as they had their halftime talks here as Hartford wins a foul.
Yeah, Cedeno taken down. It'll be Hartford ball taken down by Ashish Chetta, the former UC Irvine All Big West selection.
And Tristan Hodge still playing with a great measure of width on that left side, really trying to stretch out that Orange County defense, that gap between the midfield and the defense, and give guys like an Antoine Openo or Kyle Edwards room to operate.
Yeah, Openo tried a backheeler to Edwards there, unsuccessful over the goal line. So Cody Cropper, the 30-year-old, will play it. Played 28 games for the New England Revolution from 2016 to 2019, and then he was loaned, as we said earlier in the broadcast, to Hartford for the final 9 games of the inaugural season in 2019. Just the start of things. Second half, match even at 1. Milan Olowski and Elvis Ammo. Ball played in the middle field. Cheetah gets it ahead for Olowski, and he is offside. Yes.
Just a little overzealous there. He knows it. He didn't refute the call. Cool finish from him, one touch and rounding the keeper and putting it in the open net, but you see he just starts his run a half step too early. Good call by the linesman. Olowski certainly offside.
Ball played in the middle of the field by Edwards.
But those should be warning shots for this Hartford back line. That's twice that they've had opportunities with Milan Olowski full head of steam at their goal. They're not going to keep that one on the scoreboard if that pace holds over the last 42 minutes.
Brett Richards and Seth Cussiply into the game for Orange County as they have substituted Villanueva. So they have changed up a little bit. 23 in black, Ryan Dogman. And it'll be a Hartford throw-in.
Yeah, Brett Richards was part of that back four that had played all 270 minutes together coming into this match, so it makes sense that they revert back to him at right back. Taking off Villanueva and leaving off Dogman is a pivot from what we've seen from them in previous matches.
It's been a good return to action in Hartford for Tristan Hodge. Very involved early in the match.
Yeah, he's playing that role that they wanted Ashapalin to play in his absence and doing so far more assertively. We saw in some of their chances in the first half, him screaming for the ball and then sending a screaming cross into the box, creating chances or half chances.
Wayward boot off the foot of Sheldon, so it'll be Dogman to throw it in for Orange County. They're going to move him back. He tried to advance up a little farther than the man in charge, Eric Tattersall, wanted him to. Throws it ahead. Goes out of bounds. Don't miss the next match right here at Trinity Health Stadium this Tuesday, April 4th at 7 p.m. Go to HartfordAthletic.com for tickets and more information. Now they give Richards a towel to wipe off the ball before the throw-in.
The sun's shining, but the field hasn't quite dried out yet.
Had a terrific college career at the University of Washington. 31 goals in 72 games for UW.
Yeah, led UW in goals each of his 4 years on campus, and he was the first homegrown player in Portland Timbers history.
Throws it into the box. It was a nice pass, but it was right to Richard Sanchez.
It was, and that gives an opportunity for a little bit of a counter opportunity. Orange County has numbers back, but Prince Sadie with that left foot down the left side.
Set up by Barrera. Openo back to the Prince. Puts it towards goal. Edward goes wide. But a pretty setup by Prince Sadie that time, and Edwards puts the header a tad over the crossbar.
Yeah, you love the idea. Prince Sadie being so left foot dominant, had to wrap his hips around that before he played it into the box. A little bit behind Edwards, the ball bending away from him. He did good to get a head on it, just that little bit of lacking precision, and that final cross is what kept that out of the goal.
Cody Cropper waving his teammates upfield. Set to put his boot into the goal kick. Logue heads it over Nielsen and over the touch line, so it'll be a throw-in for Richards. Hartford, though, continuing to play as they did at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and I keep going back to that adjustment to get Kyle Edwards in the mix. He's playing with loads of confidence, and something that should encourage them is Prince Sadie thus far in the second half has been more involved, but Orange County have had their opportunities.
Try to set up Pulaski. Here's a chip by Peterson, but over the cage and out. Orange County will play next week in El Paso against the El Paso Locomotive FC, 6:30 Pacific time for you folks out on the left coast.
And it looks like Orange County have changed their shape with some of the substitutions they've made, bringing in Kasipli for Bryce Jamison, and they're more of a 4-4-2 than the 4-4-3, excuse me, that they were in for the first half.
Hodge taken down by Kevin Partita, and he gets a talking to by Eric Tattersall, but not booked. So it'll be the man in the orange kicks, Niall Loeb.
Partita didn't want the foul, but he knew. You go through a player's back like that, it's nothing malicious, but that's a foul every time.
Hodge ahead for Amo, who has the Hartford goal. The equalizer in the 53rd minute. Knockham steals it away. Partita plays it ahead. Here's Chetta. Puts it towards goal. It's loose as Sanchez couldn't get to it. Unfortunately, it's cleared out of there.
Yeah, it looked like Sheldon on the spot to be able to clear out the mess and an otherwise very dangerous loose ball in the box.
Here's Andrew Fox. Dishes, and it goes through as Edwards took a tackle on the ankle and was slow to get up.
And that was a decent ball from Dogman to Milan Orlovsky. Very narrow window for him to have service, but got it there, low, hard. Orlovsky ran onto it, didn't miss the goal by much. And, Joe, that's the interesting thing that we're here now. These teams are tied at 1, but both of these teams so desperate to get a win. I think we're going to see both these sides on their front foot here in this second half. It sets up for a very entertaining final 35 minutes.
Plus, here's Sheldon. He's sent flying by Kasipli, former UCLA player, much like Ilosky. Ilosky's brother among the injured for Orange County. Brian Ilosky has a foot injury. Here's Milan. 1v1. Cuts to the middle. Plays it for Nielsen, but Sanchez comes off and gets it before the big Dane can get to it.
Yeah, Orlovsky, visible frustration there. It seemed like he and Nielsen were just on a different page, and Richard Sanchez wasn't going to give them a second chance at it.
Now Amo fouled as he goes for the pass. Marcus Nakim sends him flying, so it'll be Hartford ball. Pass up ahead for Edwards. Edwards, and we've got
like handball
on Athletic. Since 2018, the Fix has been Hartford County's leading wellness spa. Whether you need a quick B12 shot to increase energy or a vitamin infusion to rehydrate, this is the place to reset your mind and body. Take time, treat yourself, and invest in your health. Jody Ambrosio, Phil Murphy, and our talented crew with you from Trinity Health Stadium in Hartford. 1-1. It's been a good one so far between Athletic and Orange County. Amo tries to play it ahead for Sadie, but Dogman is there. Dogman's been watching Sadie most of the match.
He has been, and Prince Sadie, we did say his name a lot in the first half, and that's a credit to Dogman, but Sadie seems to have found a little bit of a rhythm here in the last few minutes.
Dribbles into space. Sent crossfield to Tristan Hodge. Drops back to Barrera. One-touch pass. Here's Cedeno. Puts it on goal, and Cropper right there to make the catch.
And that's what Tab Ramos said he wanted from Cedeno. He said he started the first 2 matches, didn't register a shot on goal, didn't really have too many dangerous moments. Sat him early in the last match against Birmingham, then subs him on in the 79th minute, and he gets a shot on goal within 3 minutes. So it was message received and timely that he's needed him every minute of this match just far. Says you got to get shots on goal, you got to get assists, you got to have some weight in the game, and I'd say he's had that so far.
Hartford completing 276 passes to 163.
And that's reflected in the possession advantage as well. But Orange County has proven very dangerous on the counter. Orlovsky is every time they get a ball, he's looking for an angle, looking for some space, looking for some grass to get the ball fed into.
Yeah, they were trying to get it to Orlovsky there, and now Logue sit down on my watch. Hodge plays it ahead. Openo sends for in the box for Edwards, too far, and it goes over the goal line. Good intention by Antoine Openo, but just a little too much sauce on the ball.
Yeah, weighted it a little too heavily, and I mean, it's that little bit of quality that was missing there on the final touch, but I mean, it was an outnumbered guy in the box. It would have taken something pretty special to create much of a chance out of that.
58th minute, deadlocked at 1. Logue chests it over to Hodge. Logan Hodge just seemed to have a particularly good rhythm.
Hodge has been terrific, I think, in this match, and the width he's created has allowed Hartford to have an outlet, have some space to operate. But
here's Partita ahead for Ilosky.
Offside.
Yeah. Wide open in the middle is Cussiply, but he was offside by about 3 yards.
Yeah, Orlovsky protesting that one a little more, but I think that was a good job from the Hartford back line to hold their ground, and just a half second late on the pass.
Play on, through ball for Edwards, but he gets tied up with a defender.
Yeah, Prince Sadie wanted the ball there. He and Sheldon had a brief conversation about the decision to play that in toward Edwards and ultimately all the way to Cody Cropper.
Played square to Brett Richards. Drops the ball back. Marcus Knockham. Now here's Chatta. Just Orange County just trying to have a little bit of possession, but they get a man open on the far side. Ball set towards the box, and Rad is there before it could get to the dangerous Olaski, so it'll be a corner, first corner kick of the second.
I think the linesmen have ruled that a throw, and it stayed just along the goal line and curled out, which is a win by Rad to keep that from being yet another corner for Orange County.
Good call. So Brent Richards will throw it in as we head for the 59th minute on a day that has turned sunny here at Trinity Health Stadium. We had rain as we entered the stadium. Richards throws towards the box, volley toward the goal, and it goes over the top of the goal, and it'll be a goal kick as Chatham arched it over the top bar. No subs waiting to come in. We've had a couple of subs for Orange County in the second half. Of course, Kyle Edwards came in the 41st minute for Beverly Makandila. Hartford changed its form of attack, and it paid off into that goal.
Yeah, and that's what Tab Ramos had told us for Edwards. He would need to be in a 4-3-3, and at that point they hadn't yet committed to what their shape and tactics would be. It's a bad turnover here for Sanchez.
Here's a giveaway. Olaski, square on the right. Nielsen, saved off the goal line by Danny Pereira. What a great play by the veteran. Still with the attack. Peterson traps it back for Nielsen. One touch to Peterson. Plays it square for Richards. Back to Peterson. Sends it towards the far side. Headed away by Sheldon. Boy, what a play by Danny Barrera.
What a play and what an odd sequence. Sanchez gift wraps it. Orlovsky, no urgency. I mean, you want a guy to be calm in that scenario. Gets it over to Emil Nielsen, and then Barrera saves it off the line. And Barrera, it's a funny thing, Joe. Earlier this week, Tab Ramos said, he was worried about how deep Barrera might be able to go into the game, and here he is in the 61st minute, keeping us deadlocked just from a heady play, getting behind the ball and kicking it off the goal line.
Connor McGlynn preparing to enter the match for Hartford. Here's the Richards throw-in. Headed up, and we've got a foul in the box. So Hartford will get it on the kick. Flourish Catering, a proud sponsor of Hartford Athletic. Feed your team, clients, or guests like professional athletes. Let Flourish Catering provide healthy and delicious meal solutions for your next meeting. So the second Hartford sub of the match will be the 25-year-old veteran with Athletic, Connor McGlynn. You would think it's probably for Barrera, right?
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, for Barrera, it'd be him going out on a high note as yet another
Here's
ball played into Orlovsky.
In the box. He puts it just wide.
But ruled offside.
Called offside anyway, so it wouldn't have counted.
Chaplow's upset about it. Orlovsky seems to disagree. We'll get a second look. It's hard to tell. You need an earlier look at it. But Orlovsky's always going to, at this level, we're not going to go to VAR. You're always going to take a chance.
So it is not Barrera who's going to come off.
Opino.
Antoine Opino. So Opino done for the match, and Connor McGlynn, who's a big guy, 6'4", maybe looking for some balls in the box, gets a touch right away.
Yeah, he had 1 goal in 29 appearances last year. That was against Pittsburgh Riverhounds in July.
Taken off the foot of Omo, but played back to Richards, and Nielsen sends it up to Peterson.
Yeah, for Hartford, absent Andre Lewis and Kembo Cabato, the attacking options get thin as you start to head to the bench. So if you're midfielder or your left wing player, in the case of Antoine Opino, starting to show a little bit of fatigue, you don't have really that long list of attacking options left because so many of those guys had to be worked into the starting 11 out of necessity.
Javoit's giving the ball away and sends it up towards Edwards, who's been a factor since he's come in the game. Cedeno. Hard collision on the far side with Marcus Knackham. Look out. Now we've got a little kerfluffle involving Knackham. Eric Tattersall gets in the middle of it. Let's see. Daniel Peterson over there as well. Ashish Chadha. Now they're talking Andrew Fox. Talking with Elvis Amo. Peterson is the one doing a lot of the talking. Let's see what we have here. There's the collision.
Yeah. Not him going for the ball. So Cedeno wasn't thrilled with the challenge and kind of kicked out a little bit, claiming an elbow.
Don't think anyone's going to, let's see, is anybody going to get booked here?
It's a fine line for an official because you certainly want to take control of the match. You don't want this to escalate. I think just the time this is taken, while it's not the most compelling thing for a viewer to see guys talking, it does kind of diffuse the situation, which is ultimately the goal.
Cedeno there. Knockham there. As Tattersall gives the card to both of them. So Marcus Knockham with his second yellow card of the season, and Jesse El Cedeno his first yellow of the season. Takes place in the 65th minute.
And now you have a center back for Orange County carrying a yellow, which is could be a risky situation if there is a late high stakes challenge.
Westfield Bank, proud to support Hartford Athletic and all they do to make our communities better. Need more convenience from your bank? Well, at Westfield Bank, you can bank your way. Learn more at westfieldbank.com. So, the second and third yellow cards of the day. We had one earlier to Kaveh Rad, his second of the year. And it was just, it set up the direct kick that Delaski put in the 7th minute for the first goal of the game. Here's Knockham. Plays it cross field to Andrew Fox. 30-year-old from Huntington, England. This is a header by Sheldon.
Fox is an experienced guy. He's played in English football leagues, League One, League Two, Peterborough United, Stevenage. Played 3.5 years for El Paso Locomotive, so he's certainly accustomed to this league.
Up ahead, here's Sheldon. Has had an active match today. Keeps the dribble alive, sends it up ahead for Sadie. But there's Dogman, who's been dogging him all day. Prince keeps it in. Stutter steps, 1v2. Plays it back. Here's McGlynn. Connor McGlynn plays it square. Barrera, who saved a potential second goal for Orange County. Danny gets it back. Left footer blocked. Sadie will try to keep it in. He will. Sadie on the near side. Drops it back. Here's a bicycle kick by Edwards. Goes over the goal, but the crowd appreciates the artistry of it.
Yeah, and for him to make contact says something, but never really a threat at goal as we get another look at it. Even prior to this, it was a really nice two-man game between Hodge and Barrera on the left side to create the first cross. And that's just Edwards. It seems like he's a guy who's gained a lot of confidence with his time on international duty. It probably is why Tab Ramos made that change, and it's that little bit of offensive spark that has gotten Hartford back in this game.
Here's Sadie. Dropping back to help out. Leaves it for Sheldon. Back to McGlynn as Hartford tries to form the attack. Now
Hodge in space again.
Hodge, as you said, all by himself on the left. Plays it for Barrero, who's had a very active game today. Back to McGlynn as Hartford shows patience. Wide open is Sheldon. Traps it with the left foot. Dogman comes out on him, gets it back to McGlynn. He circles, plays it back. Now Barrera sends it off to Ama, who had come back. Plays it back for Loeb too far. Sanchez way out of the box to clear the ball upfield. Nice trap by Cedeno. Cuts to the middle. Jesse El Cedeno leaves for Sadie. Square on the right. On the run to Sheldon. Puts it into the box. Here's the header, and it goes over the goal. Very patient attack that time by Athletic.
Yeah, Cedeno's going to be disappointed in himself with that header. Kind of mistimed his jump, but the first touch, that cool, almost deceptive first touch to bring it down is what started that attack. It seemed like Orange County thought the ball was going out, almost relaxed. They were able to swing the ball all the way across the field, and then Sheldon ultimately plays it back into Cedeno. So yeah, he would have loved a better final touch of the ball, but it was a little bit of a cheeky play from him to even create that possession in the final third.
Deadlocked at 1 on first half goals by Alaski and Amo. Hartford has had the better of territorial play here.
They have, but Orange County always a threat to counter. And
well, we're going to have another yellow card.
Yeah, two-footed challenge from Hodge. That's going to be a yellow card more often than not.
So the third yellow card on Hartford today is Peterson and Hodge talk to Eric Tattersall.
Yeah, kind of like that scissor. I took back what I said about two-footed challenge, but coming in, legs spread like that, a little bit of a scissor challenge. He's going to claim he got the ball, but that was a pretty heavy challenge from Hodge. No surprise to me that the referee went to his book.
Randy's Worcester Street Pizza, the official pizza of Hartford Athletics. Stop by the stadium or visit their other Connecticut locations to enjoy some of the best pizza Connecticut has to offer. So, Orange County trying to have some possession, trying for some form, trying to see if they can free Olaski or Nielsen in front. But, you know, they've looked like the New York Giants of the 70s. They can't complete 2 passes in a row.
Oh, their colors are the San Francisco Giants, so you're throwing me off with that analogy as well. But it seems like they're just really content to roll the dice every time. And, you know, I'll stick with my baseball analogy, swing for the fences.
Okay.
Try and play it up to Emil Nielsen, Milan Olaski, and try and go 2v2 or even 2v1.
Here's
a couple of close
Olaski.
calls with Olaski and offsides as well.
Dogman into the box, but this one will go through and over the goal line.
And as much as opportunity is presenting itself for both of these teams, both looking for their first win of the year, I mean, it is going to be absolutely crushing if another goal comes for the team for whom the goal does not come. To be this close, to have these chances at go-ahead goals. Hartford is second go with Cedeno. I mean, Richard Sanchez, a terrible turnover that led to a chance for Nielsen. There are goals being left out there, and I think both of these teams are going to see 3 points within reach.
I would think as the home team, a tie would be a worse result for Hartford than Orange County.
Yes, Hartford having 2 points from 1 point from 2 home matches, having lost to Birmingham here a week ago. That would be a disappointment given how they started the season, and as they're about to go on the road for 3 straight, as the referee goes to his book again. This time Barrera's booked.
Danny Barrera booked for a hard tackle on Ilaski.
And something tells me as the intensity amplifies, that will not be the last yellow card we'll see. And that's just that's a tactful challenge. He knows Ilaski's moving forward. Barrera's late to get back, holding up play.
These 2 teams came in the top third in the league in yellows. Hartford with 9 yellows coming in. Orange County with 8. Hartford tied for 4th. Orange County tied for 6th. And we've had 4 yellows on Hartford, or 4 yellows on Hartford today. So dangerous situation here with Peterson and Partita, whose name we haven't mentioned in a while, over the ball.
And it makes Lappert a substitute candidate as well. Somebody who can play a couple spots on that back line with having 2 of your starting back 4 on a yellow card.
Amo comes back to head the ball over the goal line, and it'll be a corner kick, the 5th of the match for Orange County. And again, it'll be Milan Ilaski to take the corner.
And I just saw Fox go whisper something to Nakim, so this could be something we see off a training ground. You see Nakim kind of squatting down at the top of the box.
Here's Ilaski's approach. Ball's in the air, and Sanchez rises out of the sky, into the sky to make the catch and start the quick counter.
He came out a long way into a good bit of traffic to confidently grab that and distribute it out.
Lots of room for McGlynn here. Plays it up to Amo. Amo retreats, lays it back to Sheldon. Off to McGlynn. He drops it to Cave Rad. Rad Up ahead to Prince Sadie. Sadie, 1v2. Tries to cut to the right. Tries to get to the goal line. Puts it on the ground, but Peterson is back to knock it away and clear it out.
He did so good to create space, but on his weaker right foot, I know he's going to want a better cross in the end there in Prince Sadie.
Logue up to the open Hodge. Tristan plays it up ahead to Cedeno. Now Hodge will settle it. Play it back to Cedeno. In the middle, Sadie. Through ball. Edwards can't get to it. Good job that time defensively by Orange County to prevent Edwards from getting a free run to the ball.
Yeah, and had Edwards been able to get even just a touch on the ball, he's on his right foot, top of the 18, probably has a crack at goal. So although Orange County quickly exhaled with how that ended up, that wasn't all that far from Hartford turning that into a chance.
Now Orange County looking to press the attack and break the 1-1 tie. Richards into the box, but it'll sail through and result in a goal kick. The Performance Lab is an all-inclusive model that brings the latest technologies for pain relief, wellness, and mobility together under one roof. With one-on-one treatments and a customized approach to fit your needs, the Performance Lab will get you moving and feeling your best. We play the 76th minute, first ever meeting between Hartford Athletic and Orange County. The game tied at 1. Tristan Hodge, who has had an impact in his first game back after missing last week's game against Birmingham. Now Amo, who has the goal for Hartford. Back to Barrera. Plays it up ahead on the right. Sheldon, one-touch ball. Cedeno drops it back. Stumbles against Cuspoli, sends it towards the box. Cleared out of danger.
I tell you, Cedeno and Barrera, a lot has been asked of them in this match, just in terms of the minutes they've played. Cedeno hasn't got 90 minutes all year. He came on as a sub last match, and these guys are still very much involved as we approach the final quarter hour.
Well, I think we're both kind of surprised to see Barrera still out there, but he's playing well. Here's McGlynn, circling, gets it back to Hodge. Tries to put it in for Edwards. Double teamed, and it'll be Kasipli to clear it out.
Yeah, and kind of a Hail Mary ball, but more of just a clearance, keeping the center backs honest with Milanolovsky up there as the target man. Hartford right back in possession in the attacking third.
Far side, here's Sadie. The drop back to Hodge. Puts it a spinner towards the box, and Amos' header goes over the goal line. It'll be a goal kick for Orange County.
Even if that were on frame, that was no threat to Cody Cropper. So hard to get pace on a ball like that for Elvis Amo.
Hartford has not had a shot on target here in the second half. Orange County has had one, and that was the one that Barrera cleared off the line. As we have an Orange County player down. Is that Nielsen?
So you kind of do a process of elimination. It's not Fox. It could be Nacken.
Yeah. Marcus Nackham, that's what I meant. Is the head athletic trainer.
And he got treatment in the first
Alex
half for that shot to the face.
Well, and that actually helped set up the Hartford goal.
It did.
It was the drop ball after Nackham came off that was entered into the box.
And I'd be interested to talk to Tab Ramos after the match and see how much conversation was had about what kind of movement they wanted off that drop ball, because it did seem like it was something that was orchestrated, and if not, it was a heck of an impromptu movement for Opino to take that to the goal line and cross it to Edwards and ultimately on to Elvis Amo.
Total shots in the match, 16-7 in favor of Hartford, but as we said, Orange County 4 shots on target, Hartford with 3.
And Tab Ramos is having a conversation with the official here about why this treatment's being done on the field, and he may have a point. If we're worried about, a potential cramp or something of that nature, this should be adding on to the stoppage time at the end. Hartford, Joe, I mentioned it to you at the top, that they have not won a game since the start of last season in which they conceded first. That is a trend they would love to break, and that they're feeling confident, it seems here, that they would be able to, at home against a team in Orange County who's only had 3 clean sheets since the start of last year, it seems as though Hartford's very interested in getting this back going, and they are the ones who would, I think, feel a little bit harder done if this match ended a 1-1 draw.
Tab Ramos, who was having a word with any official he could find, and it was Marcus Nackham, being walked off by head athletic trainer Alex Burke.
And taking the very long walk diagonally from the penalty spot all the way to the Orange County bench.
What's the Supertramp song? Take the long way home?
Yeah.
He's taking the long way back to the bench.
There are faster ways off the field. But, I mean, that's tactful. Orange County, they see Hartford's got a little head of steam and playing with confidence, starting to string things together, much like they did at the end of the first half. They're looking up at that clock as we head into the 80th minute.
And again, on the road, a draw is not the worst result.
It's not, but Orange County coming in, I mean, they have yet to get a win themselves. Right. They feel like they should have at home, but it's a very different playing surface, Championship Soccer Stadium in Irvine, to here. This team last year, 2 wins, 5 draws, 10 losses away from home. They want to buck that trend and make a statement here, and I think for them, they might feel a little bit better with a point than would Hartford.
Today's Business Alliance partner of the match, Tudor Chess. Learn more at tudorchess.com.
So it looks like they're readying Tomas Among, who would be an attacking substitution for Orange County.
There's a long throw up ahead for Nielsen, but Loco, there's a push. And that's going to be another card. That's an easy card taken by Kevin Partita. It was clearly a push. So Hartford will start back in the other direction.
Yeah, looking at the Orange County bench, it looks like Tomas Among's getting some instruction, as is Kyle Scott.
And Tab Ramos and his assistants, Omar Namazi, both upset, as it does look like Tomas Among will come into the match replacing Nackham. Here's Connor McGlynn. He came in midway through this half, plays it crossfield. Nice ball. There's Hodge into the box. Play is loose. Cropper sent sprawling, and it's cleared out of there by Ashish Chadha. Tries the long lead ball for Nielsen, but Brad was back there to deny it.
That is in a very dangerous spot as Orange County has moved Daniel Peterson back into defense to step in for Marcus Nackham, somebody who has experience as a central defender but is a preferred central midfielder for them.
Looks like a couple subs set to come in.
Yeah. Tomas Among is the one we've already mentioned, and Kyle Scott is the other that Tab Ramos specifically said his style of play as a withdrawn 9 would have given potentially Hartford some fits over the course of 90 minutes. Now he comes in with about 10 minutes to make a difference.
Yeah, he's a guy who comes back and gets the ball and starts the attack. Kind of surprised he was not in the opening 11. Here's Barrera.
Yeah, and Hartford likes the man mark in the middle of the park, and that would have been a lot of miles on the tires for an already thin midfield unit.
So Scott and Among waiting to come in. Nackham obviously coming out. He had already come out. And also coming out of the game is Chadha. And so Scott, the 25-year-old Englishman, who had started the first 3 games, will come out of the match. So tactical moves by both coaches throughout this match in the 83rd minute. Dogman with the throw in. Here's Partita, left alone in the middle. Back to Fox as Orange County tries to form the attack in a 1-1 tie. Far side, Nielsen comes back to help. Let's see how involved Phil they get Scott in.
Yeah, I mean, he was 5 feet away from Richards there. He wants to get a first touch on the ball. He was a surprise omission for me. A Chelsea Academy player, a guy who's had youth national team experience with England, Ireland, and the U.S. He's started and gone hard 60 minutes, 65 minutes each match for them. So I expect him to come in and really play at a high pace and high energy and try to exploit a Hartford central midfield that, aside from McGlynn, has played the whole match.
You mentioned Among. He's a guy who they have high hopes for. Great vertical high energy, very physical.
Yeah, he found the goal 11 times for San Diego Loyal last year. He comes in and made his debut last week off the bench.
We have another Orange County player down, about halfway into the offensive zone. Prince Sadie doesn't look like he's buying it. Let's see what happened here.
It seems like we're going to have a pretty significant amount of stoppage time.
And they call the trainer back on the field. Boy, I'll tell you what, Alex Burke will sleep well on the flight home.
Yeah. And Log has just been booked for that challenge. He was not happy at all with that decision.
For the Hartford captain, Niall Log, his third yellow card of the season, as they continue to attend to the injured Orange County player. Gives us a chance to tell you that Hartford Athletic is proud to team up with Stop and Shop in all of our community efforts as we work together year-round in the fight against food insecurity. Orange County lost Sparky McNulty early to injury. He came out very early in the match, 41 minutes in.
Yeah, and it was a luxury for them to have somebody like Emil Nielsen on the bench who had gone about 70 minutes per match as a starter. Coming in and asking him to go 55, 60 minutes is nothing extreme, as
Seth Kasipley is the injured party.
Kasipley, who was a substitute for Orange County to begin with.
Right. He's trying to walk it off, and he's having all sorts of problems getting to the bench. Now he's taking a seat.
I mean, we could be approaching double-digit second half stoppage time by the time it's announced.
Karedi Osindina, who played for the U.S. men's national team, will come in. He'll come in for Kasipley.
Yeah, Karedi Osindina is part of a trio of guys for Ocean County who have spent time at the Barcelona Residency Academy in Casa Grande, Arizona, joining Bryce Jamison and 17-year-old Joey Buckley, who we haven't yet seen, who hasn't yet debuted for the club in an official match. But Karedi Osindina from Chicago, four appearances and a goal for the U.S. men's U19s.
Tab Ramus all over the referee, Eric Tattersall, as you see. And I think Tab got a yellow card. Tab Ramos got a yellow card. So, we said Hartford came in with 9 yellow cards on the season. They're close to 9 today.
They're pushing it, and they're running out of guys who can safely get a yellow card and finish out this match.
Played up ahead to an open Cedeno.
But I mean, it has.
Cedeno goes down. He's knocked down hard, and that'll be Dogman getting a yellow. Dogman getting a yellow card. I believe you will get a yellow card before this match is over, Mr. Murphy.
I might at this rate, though. That one was earned. I mean, that's a yellow card every time. It was a deliberate attempt to obstruct Cedeno. It was a high hit. It wasn't not to imply it was anything dirty by any means. It was just a hard foul. But the referee going to his book right away.
Hartford has gotten 7 yellow cards in the match, as you watch it here.
Yeah. Cedeno's book, Dogman just throws an arm up, catches Cedeno up high. And Cedeno's not the tallest player, so his face is kind of already at elbow height, but Dogman knew what he was doing there and trying to obstruct the run.
So we're into the 88th minute, but it doesn't mean we're ending in 2 minutes. So Barrera will send this one towards the box. The game tied at 1. Now Logue talking to Tattersall, referee.
That is a sea of people along the 18-yard box in front of Cody Cropper.
Puts it in, headed out of danger.
Not good delivery from Barrera.
Nope, didn't get much air under it at all.
But he's got space, and they're going out his way again.
Sheldon sends for Barrera. Nice fake, puts it in the box, headed away by Fox. Hartford trying to maintain possession, but cleared out by Richards, and we get Hartford called for a hold, so it'll be
it was an offside.
I'm sorry.
Elvis
Offside.
Amo was standing near the 6-yard box, and he came back to receive that. So the linesman, with all the clutter in there, had good eyes to see Amo come back and receive the ball after coming from an offside position.
Game tied at 1 as we approach stoppage time here in Hartford. Proper gets a good foot into it. Players collide, and we got 2 players down. And we got head injury, and that means we'll get the trainers out. Racing out for Hartford, head athletic trainer Mike Diaz, and the aforementioned Alex Burke out there for Orange County.
Yeah, it looked like Among was about to pop back up, but they cautioned him to stay down. Emil Nielsen said something in his ear, and he ended up staying down. Just potential clash of heads, perhaps. Yeah. And that is as unpleasant as it looks. And you always err on the side of caution to make sure there's no potential concussion or anything before
both players are up.
Safely resume.
Sorry, for Among holding on to his head momentarily, and Logue,
he's unhappy to be forced off the field.
Right. Now, they both got to come off, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. They're both going off on the far side. We'll have 9 minutes of stoppage time. Brignol Vineyard stoppage time, 9 minutes of stoppage time.
And it is a referee's discretion as well if there is further stoppage within the stoppage time. I'd be surprised if the final whistle was blown before we see 100 on the clock.
So we play on here at Trinity Health Stadium, tied at 1, both goals in the first half. Milan Ilaski in the 7th minute, and Elvis Amo in stoppage time. Neither side seems to be excited with the work of referee Eric Tattersall.
Well, I mean, it's hard to be when they're hard fouls and you're getting booked, and I mean, it's a physical match. It's an intense match. It's got a deeper in the season feel than the 1st of April. But in truth, I mean, it's hard to be critical. Both these teams are playing a very physical style. He has to blow the whistle, and it hasn't gotten out of control. Aside from that little bit of pushing and shoving, it's just been good, hard soccer.
Here's Among, sends it towards the box, but fires it way over the goal. So it'll be a goal kick for Richard Sanchez. Hartford trying for the quick counter.
Yeah, all these stoppages have kind of taken the steam out of what Hartford had started to build for a stretch in this second half.
Much as they did in the first half.
Yeah. I mean, at this point in the first half, they were peppering Cody Cropper, and Orange County was just trying to get to the locker room. That hasn't been the case here. They've had one forward possession that was spoiled by poor service on a free kick. But outside of that, it's a bunch of Prince Sadie, Kyle Edwards, and Elvis Amo in a line just hoping the ball gets sent their way.
Well, and they don't have a shot on target in the second half. Then we have a collision. Sheldon looking for a call as he battles with Oshandina.
And he does get the call.
Yep. Barrera restarts for Hartford. McGlynn back to Logue. He tries to get it through to Edwards.
Yeah, that was an incisive pass that almost made it through.
Amo drops it back to Logue. Up ahead to Hodge. Now Amo. Pretty aggressive tackle and a takeaway by Kevin Partita.
And Orange County has numbers.
Here's Ilaski. Milan Ilaski tackled away by Connor McGlynn, and he gets carded. The 8th yellow card of the day against Athletic. Connor McGlynn's 2nd of the year, and he hasn't played that much. He only played 24 minutes in the first match of the year. So a dangerous situation here for Orange County.
This is dangerous. This is probably too long to take a direct shot at goal, but it is certainly long enough to put a ball into a very dangerous area, and at that point, things can just get messy in front of Richard Sanchez's goal, and all it takes is one poke of the toe, and Orange County could be ahead.
So they mark off the 10 yards from the spot of the kick. Olaski and Peterson over the ball. Do you expect anybody? Do you expect Peterson maybe to touch it to Olofsky?
I mean, this would be a really optimistic effort, but we've already seen Olofsky score on a free kick from outside the box once today, so I mean, if anybody is justified having another crack at it, especially as the wind picks up, it's him.
Looks like it's going to be Olofsky. Puts it on the ground, but never gets through.
Right into the
block
wall.
and cleared. Here's Amo on the counter. Keeps it in on the touch line. And it'll be a foul. And another yellow card. Kyle Scott, just in the game, gets in the yellow card parade.
A lot of these subs are pretty efficient, getting their name in the box score somehow.
Fourth Orange County yellow card as he obstructed Amo.
Yeah, and that's more the circumstance of Hartford being on the counter, perhaps having numbers up front. Kyle Scott seemed to just grab the shirt of Amo.
So here's Hodge, just inside of the Hartford offensive half. We're in stoppage time, tied at 1. Two teams looking for their first win of the year. Cropper comes out, easily plays the ball about 16 yards from his goal line.
Yeah, very comfortable from Cropper right at the edge of the 18-yard box. Keeps his hands high, catches the ball at the highest point. Very smooth.
Sends the ball in the other direction. Barrera chests it down, and they say Danny kicked it out. Partita was putting on the pressure, so here's Dogman with a throw-in. We are into the 6th minute of a 9-minute stoppage time. To the box it comes, and Sanchez comes off the line. Hartford, Edwards trying to race around Fox, but he can't. Richards also got a yellow in that last kerfluffle, so that's 5 yellows on Orange County.
Joe, it might be shorter at this point just to tell people who hasn't got a yellow card so far.
In the direction of Amo, gets a head on it, but nobody there for Hartford. Richards drills it out. Among well offside, and the whistle sounds.
Yeah, he almost apologetically continued his run there. No need to waste any energy at this point.
Hartford desperate for that one push that'll result in the go-ahead goal, which at this stage would in all likelihood be the go-ahead goal. Instead it's Among. Rad with a nice slide tackle. Among stays with it, racing with Logue.
That's a good tackle and a good time for it because Olofsky was
Here's
coming
Richards.
down the backside.
Puts it in front, knocked out of there by McGlynn. Among plays it back to Olofsky. Drop pass, shot, and it's over the cage. Scott that time just got under it a tad.
That's a confident tackle from somebody who's on a yellow card at this stage of the match. I mean, again, the consequences diminished because if they did go down to 10 men, it'd only be for 3 or 4 minutes, but still, Rod knew what he was doing the whole way, and just a nice, strong, committed, clean tackle.
Here's Sadie. Plays it for Cedeno, but it's taken away. Good defensive play by Partita.
You see some of the Hartford attacking players a little bit fatigued. Starting to show. They've been doing a lot of running in this match. And
Dogman dribbling in space. On the left for Oceandina. Crossfield it goes. And it'll be a Hartford throw-in from the far side as we are almost approaching 9 minutes of stoppage time. Now that's what they said originally, but obviously sometime I would think a little bit, maybe a minute, maybe 2 will be added on.
Perhaps. A lot of guys are starting to seem a little bit flat-footed, breathing a little heavily. It's reached that stage where all it takes is one spark to swing things.
Edwards, who's played well since coming on in the 41st minute, back in his own end.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of the attacking frontline players in Hartford's 4-3-3 getting the ball in their own half and being forced to do something with it from there, which Orange County is happy to challenge them to do.
Scott to Nielsen, shot, deflected, cleared out. Orange County had numbers there. Richard Chaplow, their head coach, telling them to move up.
Yeah, opportunity there to potentially slip one to Milan Olofsky. I just think Nielsen didn't see it. Him going for goal wasn't a bad option, but it didn't seem like it was the best.
Richards, who is their long man when it comes to throw-ins, will try to get this one, but Edwards clears it out. Chased down by Kyle Scott.
We've reached 9 minutes of the allotted 9.
Drops it back. Partita plays it towards goal. Up in the air. Punched out by Sanchez. Offside on Orange County. Sanchez quickly going, getting the ball behind the goal to play it upfield, but it's for naught. That is our match. 100 minutes of soccer and unable to produce a winner. A game that saw ebbs and flows and a lot of yellow cards, but at the end of the day, Hartford Athletic and Orange County tie at 1. We'll come back and wrap this up next from Hartford. Our final score again, Hartford Athletic, Orange County 1. Phil and I will be back to wrap it up next. It's a weird game, huh?
Weird end. It's got everything. The energy just...
Okay. Game, set, match. Good job, brother.
It's fun, man.
It was fun. I wonder if Ray's going to say anything to the officials. He's loaded for bear. Welcome back to Hartford Athletic Soccer as the goaltenders, Cody Cropper and Richard Sanchez, talk things over. In full time, a 1-1 deadlock. The scoring came early, and it started early with Milan Olofsky.
Yeah, it started almost immediately, and if there was going to be a goal scorer for Orange County, it's always going to be Olofsky, and he has now officially tied the club record for career goals, 24 of them. Level with Michael Seaton. Inch-perfect free kick from outside the box. Richard Sanchez is going to be upset that he didn't guard his near post, but then in the final seconds before halftime, Elvis Amo gets it flicked on by way of Kyle Edwards off a drop ball. Hartford conceded a goal off a drop ball last week. They get one here. That leveled our scoring at 1 as the teams headed to the lockers, and then the save off the line. This will be the moment that the defensive fraternity, I guess the midfield fraternity in Barrera's case, celebrates that Sanchez made a mistake, but the midfielder there to have his back.
The game had a bizarre ending, so many yellow cards and guys running on empty at the end.
I think that was it. It was such an emotional game toward the end of the first half. These guys came out and they were playing high energy on the front foot in the second half. Hartford's bench thinned by the absence of Cabato and Lewis, and they're going to be without them for at least the next week or two. Cabato far longer. But yeah, the midfielders, so much was asked of them for Hartford. Just a trying game and a lot of energy. You felt the energy kind of dip down there at the end, but I think a draw, all things considered, is a fair result.
Join us for the next game here at Trinity Health Stadium, the U.S. Open Cup against Lansdowne, 7 p.m. kickoff. For our producer, Tom Stanwicks, our director, Bobby Kaplan, and Phil Murphy, I'm Jody Ambrosio. Thanks for joining us. Hartford 1, Orange County one. Have a great afternoon, everybody.